But Jim, on the topic of sponsors and how to keep sponsors happy, there's been more fallout of the AEW Domino's Pizza situation.
Now, see, that would have been a better transition to Keeps, the fallout.
Well, I can't do that before the segment. I had to...
Well, you could have refigured things in your brain there, pal, but go ahead.
Well, there's...
The fallout.
Did you see Jon Moxley apparently did a interview or something? I actually don't know what this is from.
He did an interview that was carried on a variety of web sources, basically telling Domino's, chill the fuck out. You ought to be thankful. They have Nick Gage. Nick Gage, that guy could sell you a lot of pizzas.
Well, here's the actual quote.
When you think of appetizing things, you naturally think of the face of Meth Head McGee. Go ahead. What's the actual quote?
Here's the actual quote, and a reminder for anyone who has missed this issue. AEW had a wrestler slicing up another wrestler's head with a pizza cutter at the same time that the picture-in-picture was showing a Domino's pizza being cut with a pizza cutter. Domino's not very happy about this. Obviously, it went viral, brought to their attention, and they reacted as most responsible organizations probably would. Again, their relationship isn't just with AEW, it's with TNT. So that's the big issue. They advertise on a lot of different shows. And Jon Moxley's response was, Domino's needs to chill out. They need to chill. It was a coincidence. Jump on the bandwagon. You don't think Nick Gage could sell some pizzas for you? You don't think the Noid is played out at this point? You're bringing back the Noid? For one, I was actually happy to see the Noid in commercials again after all these years, but whatever. But Jon Moxley, top AEW talent, telling a station sponsor to chill out.
Okay, well, let me just, first of all, there's so much to discuss here. And by the way, if Moxley is so insulted that they would bring the Noid back, the Noid, a fictional character that's not a human being, that was their spokesperson on their commercials in the 2000s until a guy with the last name of Noid who was mentally ill thought that they were fucking targeting him personally and went and shot some fucking Domino's pizza people.
I never heard that. Is that true?
That is true.
A guy with his name was Noid?
His name was Noid. Look it up while I'm talking here.
Okay.
The Noid case. So that's why that the Noid wasn't around for a while, but they're bringing it back now. But the point is, Domino's has already experienced a situation with violence of a mentally ill person, and their sponsorships and their commercials. You think they want to encourage fucking Meth Head McGee and his pizza slicer to be cutting people's fucking scalp off on anywhere adjacent to any of their commercials that just feature wholesome steaming pizza, for fuck's sake? So that's one thing. Secondly, what a fucking idiot. This is one of the reasons why, and I saw this and retweeted, hey, Zippy, good job of calming the sponsors down there, pal. This is normal, sane people that don't live in this hardcore wrestling bubble of these people would be shocked and amazed by this, and not in a good way. And this shows why that, because Domino's is the big time, you couldn't cut it in the big time, Zippy, Dean Ambrose, Jon Moxley, whatever your name is. And this is the kind of shit that, can you imagine if this had been the WWE, there wouldn't have been a pizza cutter. But if a sponsor got upset at anything that happened on a WWE program and any of the WWE talent went on in any public forum and said, chill out and get over it, you don't think this wouldn't be better than what you're doing already? Vince would personally go and pick them up and pile drive them. This is why that this fucking Moxley clown couldn't exist in that atmosphere. And it wasn't because they were stifling his creativity. It's because he's garbage in, garbage out. He's a garbage wrestler, and they couldn't break him of it. Look how he fangirled over, as the kids say, over this fucking bank-addicted drug robber on Dark Side of the Ring. Remember when we said, what the fuck? He was literally this guy's cheerleader, Moxley was. He loves this fucking clown. And that's wrestling to him, and that's a wrestler to him. And that's why that, I guess, he just couldn't fit in with polite society, Moxley, because he garbage in, garbage out. He started out as a garbage wrestler, and that's mentally where he stayed, even though he got a run at the big time. And they could take the boy out of the garbage, but they couldn't take the garbage out of the boy. And it's embarrassing to hear him. If you're a WWE fan and you knew Dean Ambrose, and so you see the guy that used to be Dean Ambrose talking about, wow, this guy's great, but he's this and that, and Nick fucking Gage, man. And then you look at the actual meth head McGee Nick Gage, and you see the fucking lack of teeth, the brain damage, the drug abuse, the scars from wading in broken glass in front of his scum-sucking mutant friends and fans. And you go, wait, what the... And I'm just, I can't believe that there was anybody making any phone calls upset from a sponsor standpoint at anything that TNT or AEW showed on their network or their program, and Tony Khan would allow one of his guys to tell him to chill the fuck out. You gotta be, this guy is a complete fucking moron. I'm not talking about Tony Khan now. Although if the shoe fits, as Dennis Condrey would say, put that motherfucker on and start walking. But I'm talking about Jon Moxley is a complete fucking moron.
All right. Well, that covered that topic, the Domino's pizza controversy. Any other?
What? Not really. Have you heard there's more controversy now about the Domino's pizza issue? The Domino's pizza incident, Pizzagate. This is the real Pizzagate, not the pedophile ring in the basement. Now have you heard what the AEW faithful, Brian, are blaming the controversy on?
The pizza... What pizza controversy? That Domino's was upset?
The Domino, they're blaming it. Yeah, they're blaming it. They said the WWE is the ones who called Domino's and said, well, you ought to get hot about this. And the WWE called people and websites and outlets and said, you ought to write about this. Well, I can imagine that they would have. I certainly would have told them to do that. I can see Vince telling them to do that. But the actual fucking stooge off came instantly in live real time when they trended, Domino's trended on Twitter while it was happening because everybody was so gobsmacked, couldn't believe what they were fucking looking at. Domino's was already aware and was already making these phone calls, and it was already going to get out. And whether or not the WWE anyone in that organization encouraged everybody they know to write about it because it was happening, I can believe that. It was still fucking happening. But they have now, the WWE's so scared of AEW that they've got to call and stooge them. No, they got stooged on live national television. The fuck? If somebody in your genre of programming trying to compete with you does something incredibly stupid and gets heat with their sponsors and vis-a-vis by that their network, aren't you going to do everything you can to point that out to everybody you talk to the next day? Hey, guess what they did? Boy, you ought to check into this. Of course you would. Because it's fucking stupid. They shot themselves in the foot. And it's not like that they hired a professional wrestler, a star, a professional performer who accidentally made a mistake. They knew they were getting garbage in, garbage out. They knew what they were getting. A fucking human freak show that appeals to other people that want to see a human freak show, torture porn, and they wanted to get people talking by, oh, look how outrageous this guy is. He's the guy that bites the head off the chickens at the county fair. Well, that's going to get people. Well, it certainly got people talking. And it didn't take him 15 minutes of being even old meth head McGee, the bank addicted drug robber, didn't he even tweet and say, well, I guess I'm just not suitable for television? I saw something.
I didn't see.
I don't know if he could spell the word suitable. I think it was something like, I guess I'm just too much for TV. Yeah, you're too much for fucking most things.
All right. Well, that was
alrighty then.
Domino Pizzagate. Let's move on with the show. And Jim, I guess let's get
and one more thing before I go.
Yeah.
On the subject of sponsorship, did you see, again, the AEW fans took this and run with it. Pabst Blue Ribbon Beer said, hey, if Domino's doesn't want to sponsor AEW, we will. God. I can see, and then the AEW fans who have never drunk Pabst Blue Ribbon Beer, because let's face it, unless you're watching a goddamn dogfight in a barn, you don't drink Pabst Blue Ribbon Beer anymore, do you? I didn't know it was still manufactured.
I actually used to get into a lot of fights with my friends in Brooklyn about this, because whenever we were out, they would always get PBR, and I would say, that shit's disgusting. How could you drink that? Even if you want to drink a Miller High Life. A Miller High Life, excuse me. That's all right. But don't drink PBR. PBR is, the only reason it's acceptable to people is because it's cheap. It's the worst beer of all the beers. It's horrible.
Actually, have you ever had Schaefer beer?
I have. Not good.
Well, the reason I mentioned Schaefer was because I don't drink beer, but Norman Frederick Charles III, the Royal Kangaroo, in 1983, when I managed him in Georgia, he's, all right, Schaefer beer, mate, $1.99 a six-pack, can't beat it. But anyway.
That's PBR to the Brooklyn kids.
Or it's not professional bull riding either. But the point is, all these AEW, well, that's right. They thought it was a real beer company, like a Miller or fucking Budweiser or whatever, Pabst Blue Ribbon. The beer companies are standing by waiting to sponsor. Pabst Blue Ribbon would take a commercial shown on a sheet on the side of a garage. So I just wanted to mention that the beer connoisseurs are definitely not watching AEW.
Yeah, and by the way, I don't even know if they have it in their budget to advertise AEW PBR, by the way. I don't know. But let's move past Domino's Pizzagate and move on here with the show.